Thank you for taking the time to set free your inner creativity, and you deserve to broaden your horizons. Think outside the box and fill your life with an imagination that can run wild. Or maybe it's more like a blossoming garden of imagination with unique, wild, deep roots of expression. Or it's like a sweet piece of candy on the tip of your tongue, reaching to all of your senses and finally swallowed in a spirit of satisfaction. But then there is the creativity burnout, which we don't want, which sucks the life right out of you. And some people can feel physical fatigue or increased irritability or a feeling of dread or procrastination. And then there are all the people who notice you're short of your usual creative mojo. And all the usual suggestions people have to help you boost your creativity. Like, have you tried learning another language? Or taking an evening course, writing poetry? How about creating a sculpture or taking singing lessons? Or go on with suggestions about all that or anything in between. But then there are the things that stretch the world's imagination, like Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, Einstein's theory of relativity, the invention of the internet, the magic of the Harry Potter book series. Now, I don't know the last time you felt creative. If it was adding a ribbon to your ponytail hair elastic, wearing a colourful work business tie, adding strawberries to your dessert, or building a garden shed. But what I do know is, if you look at an image with visual diffusion and convergence, with a visual point of focus, or a fireworks display with colours and light moving inward and outward, with a central point where they're coming from, or in the emerging topic of denoising diffusion in computer vision, where Gaussian noise is slowly added, it will build your blood supply to the right front quadrant of the brain, which can be the area of creativity and imaginative thought. Or some believe creativity sits somewhere between your pineal gland and pituitary gland, and the relationship between the front and back of your brain, divided by the central sulcus that stretches across from the top of your head from one ear to the other. But what flows easily and so well around your body and brain is the water you drink that goes on to feed your cerebrospinal fluid. Now, I don't know if that made sense or it's crystal clear that it might be possible to develop creativity to a higher level. But if you were to imagine that you did nothing different, how your future might play out, because I'm curious. And you can only imagine if you started getting all creative what your friends might say. I think you're off with the fairies. Or man, you're on another planet. Are you wearing a quartz crystal? And from anyone's perspective, imagine being able to gaze out into the edges of the universe and see the jewel box cluster known as NGC 4755, which is about 6,400 light years away. And that dream, once thought of impossible, was brought to light in the paper Astronomical Advantages of an Extraterrestrial Observatory, where it was suggested, why not put the telescopes here on Earth into space? And that vision has inspired generations of scientists and the creation of the Hubble telescope. Or Frank Wright's pioneering approach to architecture in his ways to harmonize nature in all its forms. And if you've ever been to the Guggenheim Museum in New York, you might have noticed the spiral staircase, the spiderweb design of the skylight. And sometimes places as grand as that can remind us of the beauty that surrounds us. Or the telegraph, one of the greatest inventions of human history, which transformed the way we communicate and connect with each other. So I hope you can start or continue to dream big of the incredible possibilities that lie ahead. And some of the greatest literary works come from the depths of our subconscious mind. Like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is no exception. The author had a powerful dream that sparked his imagination and inspired him to create a masterpiece for generations to come. And as children, many of us had a rich fantasy life and could see gnomes and fairies in the garden, or enjoyed fantasy play of pretending to be mummies and daddies, or playing games like hide and seek. And through our imaginative play, we got to practice our social skills, experiment with different perspectives and emotions. And if you could sensationalize the human spectrum of awareness, where our bodies are overwhelmingly processing millions of bits of information. Whether we're smelling a fresh bunch of flowers or singing the Eagles song, Welcome to the Hotel California, such a lovely place. Or acknowledging that universal feeling of lightly stretching out. Because when we are really present and living in the moment, you have the ability or sensibility to zone in and choose what you want to bring into the foreground of your life. In fact, you have the ability to imagine somewhere warm, and your skin temperature will increase. Or to imagine some happy place and literally feel joy. Or to slow down little by little, moment by moment. And I don't know if you'll get the perfect formula or experience what seems like a creative download, or just pause time a little bit. But what I do know is, the next time you find yourself with no creative mojo, you skillfully pause and imagine the situation from different perspectives, sensory, across humanity, nature, or the universe. A broad spectrum of perspectives, and you can say to yourself, I like how I handled that. I like what I did there. I like how I handled that. The next time you find yourself in a bunker of paperwork void of creative thought, you deliberately choose to pause and step outside and watch the busy traffic along the horizon. And you can say to yourself, I like what I did there. Or the next time you find yourself off with a fairy, you deliberately choose to pause and do something more normal, like learn a second language, build a garden shed, or take an evening course. And you can say to yourself, I like how I handled that. And when you're completely satisfied, to orient your creative mojo back into your external world, you can stretch out, wriggle your fingers and toes, and open your eyes. Welcome back. You're perfect, just as you are.